Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So as you can tell, I made a fail and now I'm trying again. So the original thought was I would like to try a bloom transfer swipe and everything went wrong. I forgot that I'm not able to spin a 30 by 40 on my small spinner. So it flew around a couple of times, fell on the floor, and I tried numerous times to save it and it didn't work. So I changed my strategy and now I'm aiming for a deconstructed bloom, and I'm using the same colors as I did on the transfer swipe. And maybe my mind wasn't in the right settings, because the colors I picked was for a transfer swipe. So I had a really hard time seeing potential in this one, but at the same time I had spent so much time, maybe a couple of hours on the previous piece, and that didn't work at all, and I was determined that I really needed to get a success. And also I was in lack of time. I have spent a lot of time and I had to leave at some point and meet a friend. So I was a little bit stressed out, I can admit that. So, but I think it turned out okay. A thing I did wrong here is that I tried to, and that's my new hairdryer. Total disaster. I was hoping that if I got one that could blow completely cold, it would work, but as you can tell, here I blew the colors over the CA, so that's a redo. I didn't even want to try fixing it because I've done it before and I don't get any sales, I don't get any good results anyway. So I just layered on some new colors on top of this one and tried to blow out again. Yeah, and the other thing, I reused some of the script paint, but I could tell that it had thickened up. So now I'm trying with the nasal on, and I almost forgot the CA. So as you can see, I was stressed and maybe a bit, my head was used up. I got to a point where it was hard to think, but I was determined. I wanted to get a result and I kept at it, and I'm glad I did. So I think it's really hard with the nasal on, and I felt kind of like that the air was pushed out to the sides. It was like there wasn't a lot of air coming in the center of the nozzle. So here I'm switching to my small one, the familiar one, the one I know works when I have power on it. I had recharged it, so I knew it should be able to blow at least maybe 2 pieces. It can work for 2 pieces. So I knew it had enough power for this one. And I don't know if I'm using too much CA. I felt like the colors were dark, but I used Van Dyke Brown and I used Payne's Gray, and those are dark colors. And again, I was thinking transfer swipe when I chose those colors. So maybe I should have switched out some of the colors, but yeah, I'm learning along the way. So I'm just gonna let you enjoy this and listen to some music, and I'll be back a little bit later. Enjoy! So, done blowing. I'm just gonna show you. I like the cells and I like the petals. I was not that keen on that rose area in the middle. I would have liked it to get broken up a little bit. I should have done something about it because that catched my eye throughout the rest of the process actually. And as you can tell, I really had to stretch a lot because I wanted all the old paint to come off. So maybe that was a bad idea because at some points I shouldn't have stretched all the way to get the bloom all the way to the edge of the canvas, but I had to in order to get that grayish and quite thick paint off. So lesson learned. If I'm going to scrape and reuse, I really have to thin it out if I've been at it for a couple of hours, because I felt like that compromised my composition a great deal. So I'm not gonna do that again for sure, unless I forget and do it again and then I'm gonna think, oh, I forgot to remember. But hey, trials and errors, and you learn by repetition. You have to repeat it over and over again until it's incorporated in your memory, so to say, at least for me. So I'm just gonna let you watch me stretch this out. I've sped it up also because at the end anyway, because it really moved very slowly and I was actually bummed out about having to stretch more and more, but I had to get that old paint off. So enjoy the rest of the tilting process and I'll be back for the close-up. Almost there, you guys. I just need to get that last grayish corner off, and then I'm struggling a little bit about moving it to right composition, because I didn't have a lot of paint left actually, because the fresh paint I used in the middle couldn't only go so far. And as you can tell, there's a wide area of that rose color, and I'm not that fond of that part. But I was, in the previous attempt, I was dripping paint from my fingers, and I was in my effort to catch, I got my fingers into the painting and scraped off some corners and had to redo that. So I had a lot of struggles with my first attempt, only to drop it on the floor, and then I had to clean that part up as well. So with this piece, I had it kind of like, do you know, if you have children, do you know the feeling where you need to tuck them in and it takes forever and they're finally falling asleep, and then you don't dare to tuck the covers around them, because what if you wake them again and you have to go do something else, so you actually don't have the time, so you tiptoe out of the room. That was kind of the way I felt with this piece. I was like, no, I'm not gonna fiddle with anything because I'm gonna ruin it if I even try. And at this point I was late for my appointment. Let me bring you guys in for a close-up. So it's been a few hours. I didn't have time to make the wet close-up right after I made this piece. I had to go. So what do you think? I don't know what I think. I like that part up there, and I feel like it's kind of messy here, but it goes the same way from top left to bottom right, so I'll see if I can live with it. And the bottom bloom, really wonky some places, but the lines are crisp and clear, so I actually kind of like it. There's some gorgeous cells, there's some of the, I don't know, the blue, that must be the Payne's gray mixed with some of the gold. And then I have some different shades in the white cells, kind of like that too. So overall I'm pretty happy with this. It was not what I was aiming for. I just made a fail with a transfer swipe bloom, so I ran out of time and I dropped the painting on the floor and it was a hot mess. And I had to get out of the door, so I was kind of stressed. So I decided to leave this be, and hopefully I'm gonna grow to love it when I look at it with fresh eyes and I can tell that, yeah, I like it better now than when I left, you know. So any suggestions, please advise. Anything you can have in mind, write it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider to give it a thumb up and subscribe to my channel and see what I come up with next. Thanks you guys for watching and stay safe out there. Bye!